Lisa certainly has a lot of stories about her time on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. On her latest podcast with her husband Harry Hamlin, Lisa claimed that never wanted to hurt people, but it was her job to be to get ratings. If that's true, then she did her job well. She had beef with several cast members, and even had to hold back from strangling Kim Richards in Amsterdam, simply because she didn't want to go to jail. That's something, I suppose. It's interesting to hear Lisa's take on her behavior on the show. Rinna says she wanted to make a great show during her time on RHOBH. Now that I've had 2 years away from it, I don't dislike these women, Lisa said on her and Harry's podcast. Let's not talk about the husband at approximately 12:40 mark. I had to work with them in a way to make a television show that was prickly. Prickly is one way of describing it. That was your job, Harry agreed. Your job was to *T from time to time in order to get ratings so that there would still be a show. It's not unheard of for reality shows to purposefully make things dramatic for the ratings. However, it's also not surprising that some of Lisa's co-stars might be holding on to bitterness from past interactions. Whether you filmed it or not, I think we still carry so much of it. And we don't need to, Lisa said of past grudges. We could let it go and be like, you know what, you guys? We made a great show. It's not unheard of for reality shows to purposefully make things dramatic for the ratings. However, it's also not surprising that some of Lisa's co-stars might be holding on to bitterness from past interactions. Whether you filmed it or not, I think we still carry so much of it. And we don't need to, Lisa said of past grudges. We could let it go and be like, you know what, you guys? We made a great show. She finished with, I don't think any of us were out there looking to ruin people's lives. Those are pretty magnanimous words for someone who continues to bash the show. From calling it the fake Titanic and saying the wardrobe rules are just cheap, it's obvious there's no love lost between Lisa and RHOBH. The last confession of Rinna. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of the recording equipment and the faint ticking of the grandfather clock in the hallway. Rinna sat at the edge of her velvet podcast chair, fingers wrapped around a coffee mug that read, "Own It, Baby," in bold gold letters. Her husband, Harry Hamlin, sat across from her, half listening, half watching the muted TV screen mounted above their fireplace. You ready to tell the truth? Harry asked, adjusting the mic. He'd heard it all before, but there was something different in Lisa's voice that day, less sharp, less housewife, more human. Lisa looked into the distance, then smiled, but the kind that comes before a storm of emotion. You know, she said, her voice steady, I never wanted to ruin anyone's life. I just wanted to make a great show. Harry nodded. He knew better than to interrupt when Lisa started reflecting. He also knew that when Rinna said great, she meant iconic, explosive, ratings gold. It was during season 5 when the moment happened, the one that would follow her like a ghost for years. Amsterdam, a dinner table. Tension so thick it felt like everyone was breathing through gauze. And then Kim Richards, fragile, unpredictable, dangerous in her own pain, slid her words across the table like broken glass. Let's talk about the husband. Lisa had seen red. She didn't remember standing. Didn't remember grabbing the wine glass. What she remembered, years later, was the weight of a table she almost flipped, the pressure in her chest, and the single, strangled thought, don't go to jail in a foreign country. People still ask me about that night, she told Harry now, years later. But it wasn't about Kim, it was about me. My reaction, my job. Being on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills wasn't a gig, it was a transformation. When Lisa joined, she was already a soap opera star, married to a Hollywood actor, a mother, a hustler. But nothing prepared her for what the show required. You have to give them blood, she explained on the podcast. They don't say that out loud, but everyone knows it. You don't survive that show by being boring. You have to be willing to bleed on camera, and sometimes make others bleed too. She remembered the confessionals, the producers nudging her with phrases like, "How did that make you feel?" Or, "Do you think she was being fake?" It wasn't manipulation exactly, it was performance, but the kind that blurred lines between truth and television. "I became someone else," Lisa said, "or maybe I became more me. That's the part I'm still not sure about." The years blurred together after Amsterdam. Feuds, fashion, friendships that imploded under the weight of storylines. Denise, Garcelle, Sutton. Each season had a new target, and Lisa, sharp-tongued, always camera-ready, played her role to perfection. Until she didn't. "I started losing myself," she admitted. "You know that moment when you're arguing, and suddenly you can't remember what started it. That was me. I was fighting ghosts, and worse, I was creating them." Harry leaned in. "Was it worth it?" Lisa hesitated. "It depends on what you mean by worth. I was on magazine covers. People quoted me. I made ton of money. But I also lost real friendships. I stopped trusting my instincts. I was performing 24/7. One of the worst moments," she said, "wasn't on camera. It happened after filming Wrapped on season 12. She had just finished a brutal reunion taping, 14 hours under studio lights, defending her behavior, absorbing attacks, staying in character. She returned to her hotel room and collapsed on the floor, still in full glam, dressed tight around her ribs. "I couldn't breathe," she whispered, "not because I was sad, because I realized I didn't like who I'd become." That night, she called Harry. "I think I need to leave the show," she said. "Then do it," he replied. But leaving wasn't the hard part. Letting go was. Lisa spent the next 2 years rediscovering her voice. Not the exaggerated, hyped-up Lisarinna that America knew, but the real one. The one who got excited about home renovation shows, who cried watching Little Women, who still wrote birthday cards by hand. She launched the podcast with Harry not because she wanted to spill tea, but because she needed a space where she could speak without editing, without producers, without needing to be good TV. "It's funny," she said in episode 3, "when you stop performing, you start remembering. And what I remember most is how much we all loved each other, in our weird, toxic way. But not everyone was ready to forgive." Garcelle had gone on record, saying she didn't believe Lisa's regret was genuine. Sutton blocked her on social media. Denise had disappeared into a private life, refusing to speak of the show again. "I don't blame them," Lisa said. "When you hurt people, even if it's part of the gig, they have a right to walk away." Still, she didn't believe she was a villain. "People forget. We were all signing up for the same thing. No one gets out of that show clean." Harry raised an eyebrow. "Do you want to go back?" Lisa laughed. "God, no. That ship sailed. It's the King Titanic, remember?" In the podcast's most talked about episode, titled "No Regrets, but also maybe some," Lisa laid it all out. The betrayal she felt when Bravo edited out her more compassionate moments. The guilt of triggering old traumas in others. The loneliness of realizing people preferred her messy persona to her real self. "I didn't want to ruin people's lives," she said, voice cracking. "I really didn't. But I also didn't walk away when I could have. I stayed. I chose it." She paused. "Because I was good at it." Harry placed a hand on hers. "You still are, but maybe now you're using it differently." In the final minutes of the episode, Lisa shared a letter she had written to her younger self, dated the night before her first scene on RHOBH. "Dear Lisa, tomorrow, you're going to walk into a mansion filled with beautiful, complicated women. You're going to think this is just a job, but it's more than that. It's going to change you. You're going to laugh, cry, fight, break things, say terrible things, and defend your choices. You're going to become someone people love to hate and hate to love. Just promise me one thing. Don't forget who you are when the cameras stop. Love, you." The letter went viral. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. For the first time, people saw Lisa not as a villain or a provocateur, but as a person who got swept up in a machine too powerful to control. "You know," Harry said on their next recording day, "people are saying you're trying to rehab your image." Lisa smirked. My image. I'm trying to rehab myself." Months later, Lisa was asked to appear on a RHOBH reunion special. The "Where Are They Now" episode, she declined. Instead, she sent a video message, sitting in her podcast studio, wearing a simple black turtleneck, no glam. "I'm proud of the show we made," she said, "even the messy parts. But more than that, I'm proud I walked away. Not because I had to, because I wanted to find out who I was when no one was watching." She smiled, the kind that didn't need approval. "I'm still figuring it out, but that's okay, because for the first time in years, I like the girl I see in the mirror." Somewhere in the hills of Beverly, a new season of RHOBH was filming. New faces, new fights, new feuds. The machine kept turning. But in a quiet home a few miles away, Rinna sat on her porch, coffee in hand, Harry beside her. The sun dipped below the canyon. "You miss it?" he asked. Lisa thought for a long moment.